the direct perceptions. And direct perception in the relatively, there are, and outer or inners. Even we can to say is that inside direct perception imputed, like we can to say the 5 disturbing emotions, and like desire, attachment, anger, jealousy, and so on. And there are very much in the relatively. And in the relatively, those perceptions and are relative. And also in the relatively, those perceptions, inner perceptions, are we need to avoid. Why? Because it is this is the negative and disturb and the source of the samsaras. And therefore, if we choose to say all the sentient beings or myself, there's 84,000 disturbing emotions. And principally, there's we call the 5 poisons of these disturbing emotions. Okay, I understood the number of these 5 poisons. I understand the little bit explanations of the desire attachment like this, anger is like this. Okay, in the text says like this, explanation says like this. Thank you. And then how we can to deal with that? And just in the relatively, there are, we call the negative. And also it's the opposite, compassion, kind. There are something we say is like a positive. But if you go to the absolute perspective, maybe negative is not negative. But firstly, basically, rootly, groundly, we need to know about that. And that is like, for example, we can to say that maybe I'm picking up that to anger, but maybe in our sanghas, myself, do not to think, or maybe you are saying me not. Anger is the most our like disturbance. And when is anger is arise, that is the inner phenomenon, inner like kind of appearances. At that moment, to really the mental faculties to catch anger itself, direct perceived, anger, I perceive, direct. And that moment, there's no like kind of diluted mind. It is clearly, I say, its anger is in the front of my mind. And that is like to analyze this direct, watching this, the object of the anger itself. And then it's like seriously, oh, now really anger is like this. Anger is generally, we just say, oh yes, anger is very bad, blah, blah, blah. But really anger is coming, we forgot it. But if we to mental faculties using, maybe for example, some practitioners, to say unexpectedly, we says, could you please slap me? Maybe could you me like kind of very strong disturb to me, and to make big problems. And then it's like one is very angry. Maybe it's your body is shaking. You want to immediately to to say something. At that moment, don't look at the outside. Now it's anger. It's how it is. That moment, anger appearances is direct appeared in the front of the mind. Then we need to work. Then we need to analyze. Then it's maybe anger is like, it says if you are taking care of the anger, while you holding the anger, directly you look at the anger without undilutedly, undilutedly, directly. This is the really pit instructions. And through that, then we can to say anger maybe is disappeared. Anger is become like kind of flower. Anger is the part of the yourself. Anger of the phenomena of inner perception of the anger is like kind of self-liberation is there. By the cognize of the self-awareness, determinedly, nakedly, directly look at the anger itself. Then anger is become the Vajrasattva. Maybe anger is become the like liberated, the wisdom of the miras. Otherwise, it's how we come to, to realize the essence nature of the anger. Anger is all the time keep inside. We are studying the anger. I studied 100 years about the anger. I know very well about the angers. Anger is like this, that matters. But we never worked. But anger is appeared front of our minds. Otherwise, it's like maybe someone's expression of the angers. Oh, look, this person's angry. This person's angry. This animal is angry. Angry times showing. There's like a beating, making war, this kind of to see that. But this anger is like kind of we can't. This anger we cannot to make liberate. This we know about that anger. Nothing affects to us. Just maybe making more like kind of our diluted, but inner direct perceptions, exactly same the other disturbing emotions. Inner appearances like this. Then outer appearances, and it's like a kind of generally speaking, and doesn't matter form, sound, smells, tastes. And that moment is like, okay, I can to see millions of forms by my faculties, but I'm not much caring because it's like I haven't got any interest to them. Okay, but it's like this distracted to you or not. And it is like a kind of confusion or not. And maybe in the yogis or like through the pith instructions, through the maybe like this, and maybe you haven't got any clinging and haven't got any disturbance, motions in our mind. Generally, those appearances of the forms, I make the joke like kind of the beautiful and handsome and elegant, and some is like nice flowers, and it's making wow, wonderful flower, nice smell. I like very much how I can to get that. This kind of then inner, like the mind is coming. Then is the outer. This flower is existent or non-existence. Really, it is reliable or not reliable, and really is a truth or not a truth. But it's disturbing is into our minds, and then it's like outer which kind of forms, and it's making the clingings to our mind. How it is the disturbs. Then is the direct to see what it is. To then is eye faculties to see the direct undilutedly. And also then it's like mental, the direct valid cognition to perceive the undilutedly. And that is the relative realities. How it is. Relative reality, it is like, we can say that like scaring crows. Yes, scaring crows. Scaring crow. Scare. Crow. It's like also how to say in English, like someone's making the image of the lion, tiger, like this kind of. How do you say in English? If you go to some museum, it's like they made statue of the tigers. It is like lions, looks like real, and it's But it's, also there is, one person says it's like this, oh, and this place there is the snakes. Why? Because someone saw the snakes. And maybe this one's, there's no snake, but one person saw the like kind of white and black together ropes. Some ropes the person see, and that there is a snake. And say again, oh, there is snake. Really? There is snake. Are you sure? Oh, yes, there is snake. And then it's like if you go to theirs to check everything, but you direct to perceive there is no snake, absolute snake, but still there is a tendencies, kind of maybe something like this kind of. There is the outer, our like destructed, the how to say destructor or the deceivers of the appearances. Reality is nothing substantially existence, nothing like kind of Rinpoche. It is hallucination. Obviously, it is the truth, but we have kind of the tendencies at the beginning, in the before periods, our persons to tell to us, and now we are like kind of philosopher. But now we are really serious persons to checking out of this out appearances. But periods, our persons, our lives tell to us exist outside appearances, really exist. There is a form, smells, and sounds. Their existence told to us so many times. Now, through the pith instructions, through the analysis, outside is this like kind of rainbow, like a dream, but to understand maybe logically, but still there is kind of the belief. Still there is the belief kind of thing. That is we call the obscurations. That is we call the kind of hindrance. That is like kind of the, this fetter and like a lasso or rope is bounding up our minds. Difficult to separate this clinging, this beliefs. And therefore also it's like outer any kind of form, sound, smell, also like this. Also we can just taste it. We eating many different food. Maybe I'm not sure all of them is for ourselves to say is delicious or I want to eat. But some specific we have, 100%. It's during the lifetime we eat many things, but oh, I need this for my body, my stomach. You are like really enthusiastically, or it's like something is maybe you haven't got specific, like a direct, clearly, like a kind of constant food like this. But inside maybe some kind of food I have cling attachment. That moment maybe to see that one is this food, ice cream, croissants, and chocolates. And to look at this one, oh yeah, that is my appearances, how it is the make me in the delicious. Then is the fixed direct faculties, and then is mental faculties, and then we can need to establish under this substantially, on the substantial this phenomena. Then we need to establish on that there's some qualities or the characteristics, emptiness, momentary nature, and the how it is. This kind of we need to establish. Therefore, like direct perceptions and undiluted. Undiluted means it's like nothing kind of concerning others. For example, if I'm thinking croissant, but at the same time I'm thinking zamba, rice, business, then I'm diluted. And that moment, no focus on this. I'm thinking about the like kind of croissants, direct, undilutedly. I have the direct perception of the perception of the quiet.